everybody, and welcome to another episode of Breaking the Block. We've got some juicy discussion planned for today. So I will let my co-hosts introduce themselves. Maggie, that way. You want to go first?
Hello, lovelies. I am the much in need of coffee, Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer. I have a book coming out today. Yay, Darkness of the Devourer. I will actually be doing the launch stream after this stream because my afternoon got booked and I'm no longer going to be able to do the launch stream I planned on doing. So, hey, life and writerliness. That is what we're talking about today when everyone else is encroaching on your lovely dream. Yay. Rachel?
Yeah. So I'm here, barely. And we have lots of fun people in the chat. I just noticed my co-author's there too, so that's cool. I was like, here's the link. I also write, in case you didn't know. I have two series, a prequel series and the main series about the same characters. And I'm hoping to get those done this year. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know what I'm saying. Ignore me. It's fine.
It's okay. We have a Sky. We've got Rach and Maggie pulling double duty. We've got a Dawn and a Jenna and Mel. So yeah, all the things. And make sure to check out the links in the
This
chat
is my
too.
problem. This was my card this week.
Tell me what it means. I'm not into tarot as much.
It is the reversed Knight of Swords, which is a stress card.
Oh.
Yay me. It's fine. It's fabulous. We love everyone. And we can do this, and you can do this too, because achieving that writerly life dream is something we all want to do.
Yep.
See, Dawn is
okay.
See, I didn't throw you under the bus. I told
Dawn, you should join us. Really. You should really join us today because, the things and the things plus the things.
She hasn't started her new job yet, so they're still working her ass off.
What?
No.
Okay. So, first topic. Let me move this. Why is it way up there? Okay. What do you do when the block is not you? What if it's someone you partner with? Hey, Devin. Anybody want to tackle it first?
I've had this when I was like, where you're waiting months and months and months to get feedback, or like, when TDM went on deployment, and I would have to wait for her to get to a port to be able to email me the edits. And it's a thing that happens to all writers, but I think Rachel has the much more stressful version of this going on right now. Well, but I've seen people just that were waiting on they were waiting on feedback, they were waiting on edits. One of my friends sent her book out to be edited and formatted, and 6 months later she's like, Amazon has banned me from doing any more pre-sales because I've bumped this book twice.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that. That's the reason I don't do pre-sales, at least not yet. Not until I have everything in-house and I already know that I've got all my stuff, because I've got some fantasy stuff that I've got coming up, and some other paranormal romance stuff coming up in future that I've already got the book covers for. I already got the book covers for those, so I don't have to worry about somebody telling me that they have artistic differences with me and then stopping book covers. So
Mm.
yeah, that is a big deal, especially if you've got a series, and that's what I'm going through right now. And of course, Dawn is as a co-writer, as co-authors, and I think that James is going through this with me right now because I'm doing so much other stuff. He wants to write a book with me, and I agreed, but I'm basically have had to tell him it's going to have to be at the end of the year. So work on other projects until then. Sorry. But yeah, and I asked this question because I was like, I'm trying to be nice. I've tried to be nice. I've tried the nice way to do things with this particular situation, and it just didn't work. There's also just life and your family, like Mama Maggie brought up. It's like a lot of times your family, they don't understand that what you're doing takes so much of your time. And so on those kind of situations, what do you do? With mine, I always just tried to find some peaceful time to myself somewhere. But when they were little children, that's difficult to find. That is very difficult. I give it to people who have been able to keep going with children, little children in their lives, and then children that have multiple social things going on outside of school too, because that's a lot. And you've got your work schedule and all that stuff. So it's like all of this stuff is like not necessarily your problem, or not, well, it is your problem. It's not you. You're not causing the issue, but you have to react to it. And so that's why I was like, what does everybody else do when things go awry?
I've had to start. It used to be, you guys know, I used to do the 5 a.m. Writers Club, and then I ended up 2 years ago having these, like, the swelling in the thing, the brain thing, and swelling around it, and I ended up with I got over COVID. I got over one of the COVID variants. I had the Arcturus variant. And I ended up with chronic, constant migraines. And so 2 years of going through all these different migraine medicines, trying to find one that would work. So my health was not good. And I would get up at 5 a.m. and before that, I was doing the 5 a.m. Writers Club every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. And everything shifted. And I had to find a way to, like, reparcel out my time for writer's life, editing life, publishing life, to include family life, because I no longer had that 3-hour window before the rest of the family was moving. I only had the midday window or the late evening window when I could work. And my medicine, unfortunately, also killed the late evening window, because the one that they have me on now that's working, I want to go to sleep at 9 o'clock at night and not get up till 9 o'clock in the morning. I want that 12-hour sleep window. And so I've started doing a thing where I'm cutting out Saturday, like, online time completely. And like from 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon till like 5 o'clock when husband goes to work, I might have streams running in the background or be listening to a book in the background, but I'm up and with him. And so it's having to find a way to make things fit, having to reorganize the routine that I literally had for 6 years has been a struggle for me, because I still want to fall into that. You know me, I have OCD goal brain. Once I start a task, my brain is like, finish the task. It's like that the guy from which one? Return of the Jedi? No, Star Wars. Stay on target, stay on target, stay on target. My brain does that when I'm on a goal. And so it was shifting, having to shift things and having to reschedule things, and making my brain accept we can no longer do this for this many hours a day because other things require this time. I think that's been the hardest thing for me, but it's just, it's blocking specific times now for my family, for my husband to go and have brunch, midday brunch with the daughter eats into my midday writing time. At early evening, getting hubby up, getting his breakfast made, his dinner made, getting him off to work eats into my afternoon time. So I'm having to slide, like it's like having an abacus and you're sliding the beads around. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've often said that for me it's been like one of those little slide puzzles. You have to make room somewhere for some piece of it down here, even though you want it all the way up here in this corner, so you're constantly sliding things around.
Yeah. So to get back to the whole partner thing, I used to have a writing partner. And she was working with me on the epic, which is another reason why it's kind of taking me so long to get back into it, because I'm trying to salvage my portion that I had before. I hate to say that she inserted herself, but yeah. And that was probably one of the worst things that I've ever done, because she was also my best friend at the time. So it's like, whenever somebody does me wrong, I cut them out completely. I'm a burn bridge, never look back, no regrets, don't care kind of person. And that's what I did. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend that for everybody, because there's probably some mental issues there. But if you have to do that to save yourself, to salvage your mental health and your ability to write, then do it. But if it's a more professional partnership, like with the book covers, I hate to say it, but again, it's like a cut ties thing. Thank you for working with me kind of thing. And try to find somebody else. Maybe what we need to do as business owners and authors is always plan for a backup.
Yeah.
Maybe even though we think that the partnership is going well, maybe always in the back of your mind have somebody that can take their place, so that if something does happen, it's not as detrimental. Maybe I don't know.
You would think for me, after 50 years of life, that I would have known that, but
no.
Here we are.
Yeah.
You want to think the best of people.
Exactly.
Yeah. You all know I'm a plan B kind of person. I am. If there's a character in any of my books that I resemble, it's Ezra Farrell from Relic of Time Wars. I've always got a plan B, C through Z. So and that is just something that I learned to do from my childhood of having unreliable parents and a backstabbing sabotaging sister. So I seem like this very trusting person, but like Sam, I'm like, third time and you get the match.
Yeah.
And so but in our business, unfortunately, in the business of writers, it's not a solo career. Mm-mm. We have to, because we are like a horse with a blinder on it coming into our books. Yeah. This and there's this whole thing around us in our book worlds that we become blind to. We lose the ability to see. And having that outside voice, having that secondary set of opinions, things coming in and stuff like that, that is so necessary for us, because we cannot. I mean, you all know I'm from Wattpad and Inkit. That's my background. More Inkit than Wattpad after the 2019 breach that ended up with everybody's books all over Amazon and all of these other sites and stuff like that. I developed trust issues with Wattpad security and stuff like that. But I will put my alpha reads up there with a tweak so I know which website it came from. But waiting, it is a sense. I don't think that other people realize the sense of helplessness that comes with having to wait on a third party working on your thing. That's why I try to do the beta reads as soon as my schedule allows for it. And like, goodness, I sent Dawn and Rachel so many apologies because there was like a 3-week gap from when I got the things to when I actually got to look at them. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Well, but you can see what Dawn's putting in the chat is that's the reason I was like, I'm fine with that, because we both wound up, like I wound up the first of the year with medical issues that took us out basically for the first quarter. Everything kind of had to be pushed back a whole quarter. And then after that, I finally got the stuff to you guys, but now we're kind of in the middle of the book. And now it's Dawn's turn for all the rigmarole when it comes to work and family and stuff that's going on, that it's like, well, real life just happens. And then we had these plans to have these books released by the end of the year. And what worries me, well, we're trying to handle it as far as the book covers are concerned, is, getting proper book covers that look as good as the first book covers and continuing. Yes, in a perfect world, we would have been able to pay for all the book covers all together and handle it. That way we wouldn't have to go and do this. But we did not. We started off, and to her credit, my artist was keeping track of and making sure that we were not going to get charged like what she then started charging other people, because we were one of her firsts and we had already agreed to do the whole set with her. What happened was a deviation of quality and an unwillingness to work with us on making that happen. And so I don't know if a contract would have saved that or not, is what I'm trying to say. Because at that point, she was not willing to deliver what we wanted. And
I don't
what
know.
do you do in that situation with a contract? I mean, at that point, I don't want her to work on it anymore if she's lost her passion for it.
And I don't know why she was refusing to make those changes for you guys, because it was such a simple change to make.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a simple change.
I'll have to let you see the emails, Mama Maggie.
Oh dear.
I saved all of them. Don was in Texas ready to go to Bulgaria.
I think I was one of the first people you sent that image to, and I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. It did not get fixed much. It did. I mean, she didn't do much to it.
No.
But yeah.
And people who don't deal with the cover art and stuff, they don't realize the effect that a cover has on a book.
Cover is your first form of marketing. It's very important.
People do judge books by their covers.
Yes.
All right. So Devin says, try not to pester and move on if all else fails. Sky says, I don't really have an answer to this because I don't generally work with others on deadlines, and I've always got other projects I can work on while I wait for things. Devin says, same about the pre-sales. Wait till everything is complete.
Yeah.
And then you have Amazon email you and say, we're sorry, your printed author proofs that you need for your launch that you ordered 3 weeks ago are going to be another week out.
It's almost like you have to wait for the proof to get to you before you can set the pre-sale. And then you have to wait for your order of books that you're going to do giveaways for your launch day or whatever to get to you too. So it's like, I can't just set dates ever. Never again.
It scares me. It's people who are able to do pre-sales. hats off to you. It literally scares me, so I don't do it. That's part of it. It's like I'm scared to do it. Now, if you've done it enough that you've got a roll, but still something can go wrong, right?
The thing is I have the same two people buying my pre-sale books every time, and I know who they are. One is a friend in Australia. One is my son-in-law who is on a nuclear submarine out somewhere. And so, yeah, I know my two pre-sales every single time. I know exactly who it is.
Oh.
And fun fact, if you sign into the back end of the Amazon thing and try to send an author print through Amazon Australia, because shipping books from the United States is $75, your bank will go, why are you paying Amazon Australia? Is this a fraud? And then you have to spend like 3 days convincing your bank, no,
Yeah.
I did this. This is a perk for one of my readers.
All right.
Yeah, but hopping into Amazon Australia or Amazon New Zealand or Amazon, any of the Amazon Europes, to order a print book from there so it can get sent straight to them. Yeah, the banking system is like, you're like, it's my money. Let me throw it where I want to.
Let's see. Cat Paw says the block is me or brain fog, heat, and the need to look for work and a new place to live until I can find something more steady and flexible. Because long COVID and disabilities. Starting a new job. This guy's a devout believer in cutting ties. Is the explanation nice? Yes. Necessary? Not really. I like that.
I have had family members reach out to me and ask why, and I'm just like, really? Okay.
Yeah. So whenever somebody does that, if I'm face to face especially, I just motion to them.
I love it.
That's amazing. My go-to is I have all the receipts and I will publish them on the entire extended family Facebook page. Everything.
Yep.
You want to know what the problem is? I will show everyone what the problem is, and I'm not afraid to do it because I have the I have the screenshots and the receipts. So yeah,
I come from the kind of redneck family that doesn't matter to. I mean, it's what you see happening. Okay, so what you see, not to get political, but what you see happening in the country is a macrocosm of what I grew up with. So if you deny it enough and you threaten people with being shunned from family stuff and from church stuff, if they go against what you said, then it's real. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter how many receipts you have. Yeah, I just cut ties. I'm just like, no, because I know what reality is.
The thing in my family is from the time I was like 6 years old, my grandfather was warning everyone that I was the most willful person in our generation. So everyone knows, shun the unbeliever does not work on me. Because I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Once the door is closed, you might as well be dead to me.
Yeah.
But it's a hard thing because there are contacts that I've made through writing that I am very, very good friends with. I'm still friends with these people, but I will never trust them with my writing ever, ever, ever again, because things have happened and I've just been let down too many times.
Yeah.
And it's when you have to take that step back from someone, especially someone that you're friends with, someone that is a relative, someone that that, you know, you've established a connection with, it can be very hard because it's the same trauma. It's that high school lost my friend trauma that we all went through. But now it's adulting as trauma, and you know, you can't just handle it the way you can handle it the way then and go sit down and eat a tub of Haagen-Dazs with Oreos for spoon. But you know, having a dramatic crying breakdown is not the public thing you can do anymore, and unfortunately, I do not advocate going after someone on the internet. I know a lot of people still do it. I know a lot of younger, like the Gen Xers, were like, man, yeah, we're just like, yeah, whatever, walk away. But you know, I see these millennials and Gen Zs, and they will have wars for days over something.
I just don't have the time for that.
And it's like, I'm like, how do you have enough energy to do this? Abyss says hello to everyone. He just came in here and went meow.
Attention now, human.
Which is code for pick me up, human. I want to show you something. Okay, see how tiny he is right now. Look how big his feet are.
Oh my gosh,
he's gonna be a big guy.
Jenna says, when it's no longer working, be honest. Don't say if you've grown apart or things have changed. We're doing a disservice to yourself, them, and the work you're doing or not doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Let's see. Dawn says it was, y'all love the work. Wait, yeah. Man, it's gorgeous covers.
Yeah, the covers are beautiful. It's just, it was obvious with the Vampires and Vendettas cover that she was not putting the work into it that she put in on the other covers.
Yeah. And this is different. Cat Paw, I don't see it as you being flaky. If you're upfront with how you work and how your mental health or your physical health affects your work,
right,
then
it's a communication.
Yeah. I don't see that as being flaky. I see that as being honest and upfront and open. And that creates a very good partnership in my book. So, yeah.
Yeah, because even with the same person we're talking about, like book 3, there was a situation and we worked with it. I completely get it. Like, you know, I've had the medical situations like crazy. And I'm like, you know, hey, if you need to schedule more time, if we need to book, but you know, push this back, I'm fine with that, because I'm not one of those people that are like, okay, well, I have this specific date that we're going to release, and that's it, period. And the whole world is just going to end if we don't do it. No. I'm very flexible, and you know, that's a situation. So no, don't think that. It's like, as long as you're communicating with the person that you're working with, I don't see a problem with that, with anything, you know, having to take time longer or whatever.
Yeah, setting up
the expectation.
Yeah, expectations, dates when deadlines are due. Those, we all know life happens, but unfortunately, there comes a point when you have to prioritize your work, and it's like, you know, I mean, there's horror stories about newbie authors, their first book coming out, and their delays are all on other people, and they're having a breakdown because they can't get their debut novel out because someone else that they had relied on backed them up a month, 6 months, a year. And, you know, because they're a new author, they're like, oh no, what do I do?
So
do not be afraid to step away. Do not.
I would say as a new author, if you're a new author, definitely have in mind that if this is taking a certain amount of time longer, that you're gonna start emailing and you're gonna start trying to constantly communicate with the person that's taking too long, because that's it's a communication thing. Figure out what your how much you're willing to give, the other person, and treat it that way. But also remember that this is supposedly a professional situation, and be willing to, like Mama Maggie said, have a plan B, and have other people out there that's helping you out. That's one of the things that I've had a couple people who were new to this say, well, I have a beta reader. One, you might want to get more than one beta reader. For one thing, just in case something happens and they can't do it, or also to get different feedback from different people, because you never know, one person might catch something the other person didn't catch. So that's on us and me, mainly me, because I think Dawn would have handled it differently. She's got the cowboy hat on.
The spicy reaction versus the
yeah.
Yeah, Devin, crazy ass deadlines. Yeah. I don't know what she's talking about. No, I don't know anything.
Yeah, nothing like releasing a book in the middle of a marathon. So
twice.
You're special.
Sometimes you just have to get up and dust yourself off.
Oh, we have a spinny wheel.
Do we? Oh, yeah, we do.
There it is. I think it came back.
Okay, we just hold on. We jumped. Let me see. We were talking about Gibbs slaps.
I know, right? Just things are getting good, and all of a sudden, spinny wheel.
Yeah, no.
Spinny wheel.
Honestly, I think the AIs are like editing us. Like, oh, they're talking about violence.
Not knowing we talk about violence daily and hourly.
We're writers. We're supposed to talk about. Dear my FBI agent AI bot, I am not a serial killer. I'm a writer. It's research.
Off topic though, I did tell my friends that they don't have to worry about my my memory or erasing anything from my computer, because they can just look at the judge and say she was a writer.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
Yeah.
Also, there are we're getting hit today and tomorrow by a very bad solar storm.
Ooh,
so right. Yeah, we're supposed to be able to see the northern lights in Colorado, maybe even as far south as the Texas Panhandle.
Wow.
So
is it all just mid-country?
No, it's supposed to be the entire northern half of the United States and all of Canada. So pretty much from the Mason-Dixon line north, you're supposed to be able to look north and see them, and maybe even further south than that.
Okay.
So, but it also depends on how much smoke we get from the 1 million acres burning in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, what's my excuse, Dawn? I was a redhead. I was a strawberry blonde, though. Maybe that was the difference.
It's jumping on me. Yeah. Okay.
Today's episode of I Swear I'm a Writer.
Let's see, what is it about green eyes? Green eyes are more violent than redheads sometimes, or something like that. I don't
Green eyes are jealous and envious, and redheads are violent tempers.
Yep.
If the green eyes glow and the red hair burns, run for the mountains, or next it's your turn.
Ooh. That's what it is. Which came first, the murder or the book?
Well, you have to write the book to plan the murder. Oh, I mean, nothing, just marketing.
Hen and egg. Gray eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
right.
let's go to the next question. This is going to be a fun question.
All right. So, how do you navigate what seems like a constant stream of witch hunts over one thing or another within the author and reader community?
My question to the audience and you guys.
Ellipses have been around since the 1500s. M dashes have been around since the 1800s. They are not a mark of AI writing.
Did you see the one on Vellum too, by the way? That I was like, are you serious? They didn't Google
and
to
it's
find
like
out what
it's like Vellum is an AI writer tool, and Vellum's a formatting tool.
It's a formatting tool.
Mm-hmm.
Atticus is a formatting tool.
But Grammarly isn't AI. Grammarly admits they are AI. Grammarly's proud of the fact that they have AI writing assistants.
All of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you choose to use it? Do you choose to just do non-generative?
I do all the non-generative AI stuff, and you can fight me on it because I'm not going to sit there with a Chicago manual or Oxford grammar guide and flip the pages.
Well, before this witch hunt, there was they're copying other people. Witch hunt.
They were copying real writers, so that's proof that real writers use these things. I don't know. I got attacked on Wattpad because I have M dashes and ellipses in my writing. And like somebody that I thought was a fellow writer friend kind of like added me, and I was like, okay, then let's go. And I pointed out, I'm like, okay, and here's the deal is my books have been being written since 2016 before we had ChatGPT. So if you look, 2015, it ended 2015, all through 2016 and 2017, all these things that I wrote still had ellipses and M dashes.
This all the time. Oh my
I need
gosh.
to hold my kitty.
I like this with Eva's don't engage. Just don't.
I think I shared one thing on Facebook.
You have to engage when they say when writers like at your page name. Use AI tools, it discredits the rest of us. And you can tell by looking at all of the ellipses and M dashes. And I was like, you need to take my name out of that post. Here is the documentation of when those things started being used. And to her credit, she did. She's like, I'm sorry. It's just I was reading this thing on TikTok. And I said, you should never believe anything you see on TikTok. Yeah. Because it's all propagandist. Every single post.
I want to go and you can blame my Gen X or mentality for this, but younger generations, please understand that not everything that you find on the internet is real. And please understand that a lot of us have been writing our stuff since before the internet or right after the internet was created. So we have all of this as proof. If you want to, as a writer, start documenting all of this, and also you can do the copyright thing if you want to. But the idea is that you just need to make sure there are no truly original ideas left out there. I don't think. I mean, it's like there's always a kind of a either a culmination of something or it borrows from this culture, it borrows from that culture, to create these things. And just because you see something that makes you think of something else doesn't necessarily mean that it's plagiarized, doesn't necessarily mean that it is AI, that it's been borrowed. It's I don't like that people are sending low quality stuff out there and using AI to do it. What I want you to understand is witch hunts don't help anybody.
Yeah.
What is your proof?
And it's like this. There's this whole idea
TikTok
about starting witch hunts gets you traffic. Okay,
and that's but
is it the right kind of traffic, and is it worth it?
Yeah,
the internet will turn
it's like you're
against
harming
you so
someone.
easily.
You're harming someone for no reason whatsoever to build yourself up, which that makes you a bully.
Yeah.
That makes you a bully. And evaluate the work without saying AI or not. That's my stance. You compare it to AI as an insult. You'll get outdated pretty quick as AIs improve. I prefer non-AI generated art, but I don't know where the next part of this statement is.
I'll always review the thing,
and not how it was created. Yeah, unfortunately, AI is becoming one of those things that's like politics. You can like the work, but hate the author. There's some authors that have some really good written works, and we absolutely hate their politics because, raisins.
Or them.
Hey, Rita.
Hi, Rita. How's the smoke up where you are, Rita? Can you breathe? Can you go outside? Deep breath. I am taking a deep breath, Dawn. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Dawn says deep breath. Sky, tell ignorant a-holes that maybe they need to research before they speak on something they know absolutely nothing about. And
TikTok,
don't research.
Twitter, Instagram. Those are not research platforms. Wikipedia and Google are barely the bare minimum of research platforms. Yeah. So please stop jumping on these trends.
Don't take away my emotional support, Alexis. Hey, I'm with you. Jenna's probably sick of our ellipses.
For over 5 years.
Yeah. Everything on the internet's true. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the soapboxes. Like a couple of years ago, it was a thing of you're not a real romance writer unless you have 3 to 5 spicy scenes in your books. And that became a thing that you're not a real murder writer, horror writer. You're not a real murder mystery writer unless the death scene is gruesome and horrible to the point of being horror. These trends come and go, and unfortunately right now it's their grammar is this.
Attention seeking and gatekeeping. Stop it.
Yeah. Morning, Margaret. Yeah, it's crazy how people just they see something and everyone starts repeating it and everyone begins believing it's true. It's like, why is the sky blue when it's actually translucent? Why is the sky why aren't we like the Dene, or commonly called Navajo, and say the sky is green?
Everyone's weekend's going well.
The power and the downside to word of mouth. Yeah, literally, you're seeking attention or you're lying if your aim is content or growth. Yeah. Margaret says it's almost a form of competency check, a subset of gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenna says, usually turns the most ellipses into common. They're actually supposed to be. And I love well-used ellipses and em dashes. Yeah, I use a lot of ellipses because I will have commas in my speech, but I will also have longer pauses represented by ellipses. Because when people, that's how people talk. They stammer, they study. They'll start to say something and then they'll pause and then they'll start to say it again. Those are normal, real speech patterns.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, like, if you've got dialogue and you've got no pauses in your dialogue, then it's exposition. And does it really need to be a dialogue thing? Is there any way you can break it up? Is there any way that you can make it more like a relatable human speech pattern? Because unless you're standing at a podium giving a speech, you're not going to say 20 sentences in a row.
Oh, that
Somebody
sounds
needs
like
to make
fun,
this.
Eva.
The sky, yes, Dawn, I will support. The sky is green. Actually, the sky is black, but yeah.
Yeah, people trail off and interrupt. Okay.
I need that. The difference is what, and then I just need it on a post-it over here so that when I come across that moment, I'm like, which one is this? Because Cineas is especially good at the whole trailing off while watching somebody, see what their reaction is to what he's trying to say. So that's my ellipsis monster right there.
Yep.
I concentrated chili powder.
I had to be careful with that one too because some people use chili powder like it's salt and pepper.
Yes.
If I'm cooking for just me, I'm like all the spices. If I'm cooking for my husband, it's show the pot the spices and then put the spices back. These are what spices look like. Put them over here. Yeah. Yeah. No, there's Dawn. There's an argument that Daisy and Ezra have. And Daisy actually has this with her preschool teacher, with her kindergarten, first grade teacher, her first grade teacher, that the sky is not blue, it's translucent. And that's why you shouldn't let your children read the encyclopedia before they go to school.
But it was so much fun.
It was fun. It was fun to read the encyclopedia and be able to correct my teacher on a daily basis and then get sent to the library so that I could read
So you can read it some more.
Yeah. Punish me, please. They wonder where that comes from.
So I could sneak upstairs to the 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade library section and read the adulty books.
Or even better, go to your room. Okay. I have shelves of books in my room.
Yeah.
I wanted to be anyway.
The problem is my parents knew that go to your room or go to your room meant access through the bathroom into the second bedroom that was our library.
Mm-hmm.
And so literally they would put sheets over the other bookcases and be like, you get to read off the encyclopedia bookcase. And that's it. And I'm okay.
I think that was one thing that my mom regretted the rest of her life. Letting me have an old set of Encyclopedia Britannica.
I had a Britannica. We had a Britannica set and a Collier's Encyclopedia set. One of our neighbors decided to get the grandfather died, and they decided to get rid of all of their books. And these people were so rich, and they had the nice real leather bound books.
Ooh.
And those were my books. And when I came back from college, I discovered that my father had sold the entire set. And I was like, where are my books? He's like, oh, well, you left them here, so I sold them. And I was like, I told you I was coming back for them. these were mine.
Sorry.
Sorry, we went into
No, sorry, you needed money for vodka. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah.
He would take her under his wing like a daughter, and then they would
and
rule the world.
Also only using the word said is a sign that you use AI, and using all words that imply speaking. You know, the said is dead list with the like 30 words you can use instead of said. If you use like remarked and responded and replied and retorted, like those, people will say you used AI because you're not using said on every dialogue tag. So either you use said every dialogue tag and you get accused of using AI, or you don't use said on every dialogue tag and you get accused of using AI.
It's again that it's
Why?
It's like something to cause drama, and like a lot of y'all are pointing out, I think that some of the witch hunts are there because people want attention, and so they want to point fingers at somebody else so that they can get that attention. And I hate that, but
we would, Eva, we would like not to care. We really would like not to care, but when they tag you and call you out specifically, or they call out something that is in your writing style specifically, unfortunately, you have to address it, because creating that doubt, letting that doubt to exist, can harm you in the long run.
Yeah, there have been people that have been denied
Margaret.
access to conventions and book signings and stuff because of that, because they've been accused of it. Not that it was ever proven, but accused of it. And I get that, you know, there are legal situations that you can run up on at that point, but not all of us have the money for lawyers and big fights or time for it and everything. So it's just something that I don't like, and I say things against whenever I get a chance, but at the same time, yeah, like this past week was really, really rough. The past 2 weeks, really, actually. And I've tried to distance myself from them, but yesterday I did repost something on Facebook. It was basically basically the author's version of, can't we just all get along? You know, can't we just, you know, we're trying to do this. We're trying to do this thing that's really, really hard. Do we have to focus so much on trying to accuse each other of what may or may not be, you know? Yeah, I just don't know where the line is, you know? I don't want to get involved with accusing somebody when I don't know. And honestly, I know also a lot of authors who use AI for things. And I've watched people walk through their use of AI on certain things. And I'm like, that's not just tossing it in and going, hey, I want you to give me this.
Yeah.
It's not.
We've all stories about the author that forgot to remove the AI prompts.
Yeah.
From sometimes coming up with things is hard. That's, you know, that's why I use tarot for writers. I have like 2 specific tarot decks that all they are for is for my writing. And I pull them for ideas. I've done videos on this and stuff.
Yeah. And I came across this too. It was actually one of the questions I was going to pop up, but it works well with this. So this is a thread that I found. This person attended a new writers group, and a lady said that she plugged some of her novel into ChatGPT to use it as an editor, even though she wrote the novel herself and uses real editors as well. Later, when she went to publish, they asked her if it had been written by AI, and because ChatGPT now had a record of it, it was showing up as possible AI, even though none of it was. So
ChatGPT keeps everything put into it, and it is connected to the plagiarism machines that are used by Amazon, Ingram Spark. And yeah, it's
the Borg.
Yeah, literally the Borg. Yeah, no, she
that is sad though, to put that much work into it and then just trying to see, use a different tool to see, hey, is there anything like I can add to this? Do you think, I can imagine what an author would ask, am I missing something or whatever? And then that happens.
The first few years that Pro Writing Aid and Grammarly were out, those two writing programs, there literally was this was before the Pandy. This is when they were first coming out before the Pandy. There was a thing in their toss that they could possibly retain royalty rights to written works run through their program.
Ooh.
And it was like, and it was like, what I was at a Pro Writing Aid event. And they were talking about, well, if the people here who don't have Pro Writing Aid, why don't you have Pro Writing Aid? And I was like, this is my reason. Let's say I run my book through Pro Writing Aid and I became a $1 million bestseller. You could potentially come back at me and demand royalties because this section of your toss is not clear. And so it was altered. It was altered to where now people who run their stuff through Pro Writing Aid, and then Grammarly did the same thing. They changed it so the author retains the right. But there is still that gray area that if you're using this editor online, because you have to be online to use it because the offline version is not as accurate, is there potential for them to say, well, you ran your book through my software. You're now $1 million seller. We want our 10%. We want our $2. Give me my $2. So yeah. But unfortunately now all editing tools have this virtual non-generative AI component. And even though we're paying for access to them, really all of the writing programs are becoming subscription services. So even though you bought the program, you pay your monthly fee for access to the program, it's a subscription service.
There's lots of people in chat that's got good points too.
Yeah. So let's see. I think we left off right here. Yeah. Just have a statement exist in one place and then don't reply to reviews. Never interact with your reviews.
Thank you for reading my book.
Yep. Period. I think the controversy is likely to be the bigger marketing for 99% of authors I know if such an accusation got seen by more than 10 people. Like, I just don't see anything like this happening anywhere, these accusations. I think it's a niche community. Yeah. And then we got the spinny wheel again. Jenna says, your business is your business is your business. There is zero judgment or justice attached to that. The way you do your business is perfectly fine for you and your situation. The people who don't stay weren't meant to, so the people who were meant to stay do join in. And this too, James Patterson has haters because he uses ghostwriters. So
even though he helps promote them, that's
exactly
like he doesn't hide it.
Clive Cussler did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He actually, in his will, wrote the series with his ghostwriters because they literally drafted out like 10 books for 10 years beyond his death. And he actually gave those books to he's like, this is your series after my death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you still have Clive Cussler books coming out 3 years after his death. It's because he had 10 years worth of books plotted and planned in 4 different series.
I think that Eva's statement here is very important because we are kind of we're fed, because we're writers and indie writers in particular, we're fed by the algorithm a lot of this drama and stuff that outside of this, people don't give a crap about it. Like readers don't. Some readers are very, very into this kind of thing, but most readers, they don't care. So keep that in mind.
and the niche group of readers that will attack anyone who is allegedly using AI is a pretty small percent, but they are a very loud group because they have that justice mentality. I'm doing this for the greater good, and
But
they don't. Are you? Is it ever okay to just attack someone online?
It's always going to be a fine line. I mean, there's no straight answer for any of that because
calculators.
Yeah, the whole calculators thing too. You'll never have a calculator in your hand. You need to use it. Yeah. Okay.
I believe in understanding the basics, the fundamentals, but after that, it's like I don't know how. Remember taking sentences and pulling them apart? Remember that lesson?
Sentence diagramming.
Thank you. I was like, it's in my brain somewhere, but that's as far as it is. Do I understand verbs? Do I understand nouns? Do I understand all of the grammar rules? Yes, but that part, so I get. I hate math. I can do math.
I love math,
but I hate math. Yeah, we're opposites on that. So I would always find the easiest, simplest, quickest way to do math. And I went all the way through calculus, like in high school. So it's not that I don't understand math; it's that I hate math, and I think that it's because of the homework situation. Like I understood how to multiply. I understood how to divide. Why are you sending me home with 50 problems to do it over and over and over and over and over again? So this is where kids and even college students are coming from. They're like, we understand the concepts. Why are we having to do all of this? Why can't we just use AI? We're going to have to use AI in the future anyway. I see both sides of where this argument is coming from.
Here's the thing. So, my youngest went homeschooled for her last year because of her health issues with her migraines. And for their last two senior projects, 80% of her class failed because they used AI for their last two senior writing projects. And using AI to do things, to shortcut things, is okay, but you have to learn them first. It's like I saw someone said, we call them smartphones because they're making us dumb.
That's a good point.
Why learn something when you can just look it up on the thing in your hand? And it's like Colorado.
But aren't you learning it if you're looking it up? I mean, isn't the same thing
don't. If you look something up, if you get into the habit of constantly looking something up, you retain almost nothing of what you look up.
But isn't that what we do when we're going into a library and researching? We're looking things up.
Mm-hmm. It's not the same. Your brain doesn't process it the same. You train by constantly relying on tech to answer your questions. You develop a type of unaware incompetence, and it is like my cousin's wife is a perfect example, or his daughter-in-law. She always used her GPS to take her everywhere, all over. And when her car went in the shop, the loaner car did not have the automatic GPS. Didn't have her list of destinations. She did not know how to get to her daughter's dance school. She did not know how to get to her son's soccer practice field.
I don't know. I've used GPS for a long time, and I've been able to memorize. Is it a memory thing?
I don't know. I don't know, but there are now discussions on normalized incompetence, because we no longer have to do these tasks. We no longer have to retain this information, because we have a thing in our hand that will always give us this information. So why learn it? I think it has to do with effort. I think it has to do with how much effort you put into things.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say
as
I would
but
say that more than anything,
as
because when I was in
as a
college, we were doing that.
as a society, though, I think we are being trained to be sheeple, because we no one has to put the effort in to learn anything anymore.
And some of us are just geared toward research and geared toward memorization and stuff and learning stuff. Because like when I started in college, it was all research hand-on, but they were starting to digitize things. So a lot of my research also came from digital learning, stuff that was online, but I retained it still. But I was reading it, not just looking for snippets and stuff. I was actually
Yeah.
reading it. So I guess maybe that too is the difference, is if you're reading it and actually digesting it. I also learn better if I write stuff down. And I don't know if anybody else is like that, but even when I was doing the research, I was writing down notes about the things that I wanted to use in my papers or homework or whatever else I was doing. So it was like it was really, really being digested by my brain, because I was not only reading it, I was also having to write it down and redigest it. So yeah, it was different, but yeah, I could see that. Like an example would be phone numbers. How many of us memorize phone numbers anymore? There's not many. I admit there's only like 5 that I memorized. And then of course my old phone number from when I was a kid is still in my brain.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Our school had this thing. Several of the teachers had like those, those shoe protector, those shoe things that you hang on your closet door. They would have those in their classrooms, and it's like everybody's cell phone goes in there for this class or for this test or for this thing. And there were some parents that were violently against it. And they were like, well, what if there's like something happens, or it's an emergency or a school shooting or something? The kids are still in the classroom with their phones. It's not like it's not like their phones are locked in a box.
Right.
The phones are there, visible to everyone. But it's the problem is
Agreed, Jenna.
Yeah, people is why retain information? Why remember this? Why put the effort in to learn something when all you have to do is say, Siri, find me blah blah blah?
Yeah. So I think that goes into the whole critical thinking and critical reading too, because even when as kids before the internet, if you were actively writing down what you were learning from reading, teachers wanted you to do that because you retained it better.
It programmed into the rote part of your brain.
Right. So I can kind of get the whole thing with not wanting people to have that phone to look everything up. But if you evolve into learning that way, just like humans evolved into learning from books, humans evolved into learning from
Digital
teachers
stuff.
verbally telling them things, it's eventually going to become the norm. So it's like, are you going to hinder what's going to become evolution, or are you, I don't know, are you
finding a way to compromise and adapt to it?
Yeah,
right.
and then
So
then you have to, from an anthropological point of view, you have to balance the addiction component that you get from constantly being online, virtually attached to this huge global community, and the endorphin hits that you get from watching cat videos and baby goat videos and baby chicken videos because you're so cute, and versus the real world learning to do a job, learning to function in society, and versus the going into a job interview and asking how many social media breaks you get a day. You can laugh.
That's a thing? Okay.
My husband has had this question from more than one people that he was interviewing. You get your 2 breaks and you get your lunch break. You get 2 15-minute breaks and your hour for lunch, and that's it. Well, what about the hourly social media? Those are not a thing. Those are not a thing. And then you find them walking around like, I had a coworker at the post office who she literally would check her phone every 20 minutes. We documented her hitting like the 17 to 19 minute mark, and she would start rubbing her pocket. And then she would find a reason to walk out of sight of everybody and get on her phone.
It's addiction.
It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Social media addiction is exactly the same thing as smoking, drinking, gambling, schmexy time addiction. It is the same in the brain. And unfortunately, we are programming our kids when we hand them the babysitter iPad, the babysitter phone, we hand them the babysitter media. And so, yeah, Eva's like me. It's like, okay, it's time for this to go bye-bye. And we have real people time.
Yeah.
Don't take your phone out to the barn. The goats and the chickens do not need to see this. They don't want to watch baby goat. You don't need to watch baby goat videos. You have real baby goats.
I don't know. I saw a chicken working a smartphone the other day. So, yeah. They're evolving too.
Well, you can get pet programs. You can get pet programs for your iPads, for your dogs and cats to play on because their paw pads will activate.
Yeah, catching the fish or whatever. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Time off work, something that you need more of.
Yeah. And going back to like the witch hunt and the use of AI and the use of smartphones, like Eva says here, if you can help someone struggling, do it. If you see someone doing something wrong on Wattpad or something like that, maybe just reach out to them instead of posting about it all over social media.
Please.
And tagging people, tagging anyone. We talk about a lot of author issues here. And like, how the tea that comes up when things go really, really wrong. And, please don't do these things like recently, the poor girl that blew up her book launch because she said people are over attached to their dogs and they don't have souls and they're not your fur babies. Yeah. Just awareness. Remember that the internet is forever. There's always the chance somebody's going to take a screenshot and your statement is going to be the screenshot seen around the world. Just be careful, and like when you engage, be sure you have your receipts. Don't ever fall into the profanity wormhole. Just be as calm as possible. Say, this is what happened.
But the profanity hole is so much fun.
The profanity hole is fun. Unfortunately,
not exactly professional though.
It is not professional, and there is still that bias against the profanity hole. Is the F word the same as or like in parts of the UK? Why, yes, it is.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Literally, they will say F-bomb while inhaling to finish their sentence, and it's not even profanity anymore. It is literally to the point it's not profanity anymore. It's just a thing.
Yeah. I feel this. I have felt this in so many jobs. Yeah. Just, Okay.
5th year seniors. Jenna, I feel that.
The madder I get, the less profane I am, funny enough. Because your brain stews it and it comes up with better words.
That's one of the things, Jenna, that I was told right off the bat is to be careful about all of my big words, because the average person who would read my book usually doesn't understand anything over 6th to 7th grade.
Yeah, I get these reports from Grammarly when I'm editing. It's like, you use 87% more words than the normal person. And I'm just like, your average reading level for your books is 12th grade. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. I think it was so drilled in us during school that you need to keep your papers at a 5th grade reading level so that they can be read by everyone, that I don't know. It's just
See, I grew up with a grandmother and an aunt. I grew up with a grandmother and an aunt who were English teachers, and their attitude was, if somebody doesn't have to look up at least one word, you have not written an appropriately academic paper.
Right.
And which is why I use words like apoplectic and apricity, and people are like, what the frick are you talking about?
You have to learn a new thing, one new thing a day. There you go.
You get one new word.
You're welcome.
Today's word is apoplectic, which means about to have a fit or vibrating with anger. Today's word is apricity, which means the warmth of sunlight in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
$10 words are awesome. I agree, Devin. Or Dawn. I agree.
I had to rebrand largely for that reason. Epic fantasy. What was the rest of that?
Sorry.
I was trying to... Epic fantasy is increasingly not sounding as epic as it used to, is what another person said. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, I even try, my characters usually talk like a normal person would talk, but yeah, I did have one reader say something like that, and I was just like, mine? Me and Dawn talk like normal people most of the time. We don't, a couple of our characters are a bit wordy, but
yeah,
is it so bad to look a word up every once in a while?
Okay. Here's the unpopular opinion, and I'm gonna spit it out. YA romantasy, NA romantasy ruined epic fantasy.
I can agree with some of that.
Because Harlequin romance with elves was designed for housewives and thirsty college girls. And that is my soapbox. So put up the soapbox picture. Put it up. Breathe in, breathe out.
Can I do that? Hang on. Yeah. I've not tried this.
What?
No, it just does the entire screen.
Go ahead and put it up. Put it up. Put up the soapbox picture.
Oh, it does. Like, I don't know how to do a video on this one. So that would be a Sam situation. Because that image that I shared is actually a video. So.
Oh.
But yeah, that's an opinion, and I can understand where it comes from, because I was used to reading Tolkien and stuff like that, and then here we are. I'm not even gonna. I was just trying to think. Like, the last time I tried to read an Academy book, I got through the first 5 pages and I was like, yeah, it's just not for me. I know lots of people love it, but it's just not for me. That's not written for me. Can't do it.
Oh, really?
There it is.
I had this on into Instagram so I could pull it up.
Oh, I didn't think about doing it that way. Cool.
Yeah.
Normal.
And see, our brands are not normal. So but it is normal because like that was the first thing that hit me was when I was doing my research for publishing my book, tons of YA and NA, first person, academy, dragon riders or dragon mages or demons or vampires
or witches or
yeah. And it was like it was
half
like
angel
reading somebody from that age, which that's their goal, I guess. It's not for me.
unicorn, hybrid werewolf, vampire, fae, unicorn blooded, half angel.
Thank you, Charlene Harris.
Pick a species. Pick a species.
I do have bunches of species mixes too, so I'm taking a shot at myself.
But you don't have like just
I don't have that trope where the
pop-up genealogy. Pop-up genealogy. That's what I'm going to start calling it.
I don't have that trope where the person thinks that they're one thing and then they wind up being like the mixture of two things and then they're the savior of everybody. I don't do that though.
2 things, 4 things, 6 things, they've had a different species every generation of their ancestry.
Genetics apply to immortals, yes or not? What do you mean? I'm curious what that means.
Yes, they apply.
Yeah, they would.
Yes, in my book, yes, in Relic of Time Wars, yes, it does apply. Yes, it does. Dawn.
What?
Dawn.
Is it gonna pop up yet?
Both.
Yep.
Anyway, I say that going in knowing that there's lots of people that look at our books and go, this is just not for me. Okay, cool. A lot of the stuff that you like may not be for me. It's fine.
You will find your readers and your readers will find you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, is there anything else that we need to cover today before we...
Wow, we got talking on this one, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we're almost to 90 minutes today. We were tatties.
We had some good topics. Thanks, Rach.
You're welcome. Who knew me getting frustrated in the weeks?
It's fine.
It's fine. We're all fine. It's fine. The world's on fire. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Devin's about to rip my heart out, y'all.
Oh.
If you find me dying.
Oh, is this?
Devin, I'm supposed to be reading that today, so, or the rest of it, or whatever you've provided me. Let's just put it that way. She is slowly reaching into my chest and then doing this. I can just feel it happening.
Yeah, we'll just call it cocktail genetics.
There you go. Cocktail genetics. Even saying it feels.
See, I thought cocktail genetics is when you wake up going, oh my God, I have a hangover. And then you realize someone's arm is over your waist and you're like,
you really have a hangover.
That's not mine. Yeah. You wake up and something's poking you in the back and it's not someone you know. And that's how the that's how the romance, that's how these secret baby romances start.
These things happen in our books. Oh my God, Dawn. She's on a roll. You see what I put up with.
That's
not that I'm not
awesome.
as perverted, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dawn's
Oh,
not
by
only
the
reason why
way,
you have
before we
podcasts.
leave, happy Pride.
Yes.
Happy Pride Month to everyone.
Yep. Happy Pride Month.
Enjoy.
You have the vapors. All right. So y'all want to do your outros, and we will jump off here and let people get to their normally scheduled streams or Sundays or whatever.
Yeah. I'm Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer, coffee addict. I have a book coming out today, which I'll be doing a launch for later. Because, yeah, things. The things and the things plus the things. Hi, Milo.
Nope. This is JoJo. And
JoJo.
Understandably. Come here, JoJo. Come here.
I just see the butt. I see the wag.
She's like over here. JoJo.
JoJo, look up at Maggie. Look up
JoJo.
at Maggie.
JoJo, look. She wants to look at the door. Sorry.
Oh
well.
It's all good.
I'm Rachel. Rachel D. Adams is an author. Don McClellan is my partner in crime when it comes to our current situation of series, both prequel and main series, urban fantasy and paranormal romance, as well as the side stories that we're hoping to release in the next year of a lot of our characters that are in those stories. They're going to be more leaning toward paranormal romance. So if you want the spicy stuff, that would be those stories. Anyway, we are here and having fun with all these soapboxes and advice every week at around 10 to 11, today all the way to 12:30. So come back and see us again.
Yep. All right, everybody. I am writer Sam Wicker here on YouTube, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Breaking the Block. We will be here next Sunday as well at 11 a.m. Eastern. And look for all of our lovely books. I will be updating the description box with links, so make sure to check those out. And we will see you next time. Bye.